Southern Mississippi's Golden Eagles get set to open up the season on Saturday against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. We'll talk about the matchup between the Golden Eagles and the Bulldogs. We'll also visit with defensive coordinator David Duggan and offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey and do a whole lot more today here on Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Todd Monken.
This edition of Southern Miss Sports Today with Todd Monken is presented by Bancorp South, right where you are. And brought to you in part by Hattiesburg Coca-Cola. Want a taste of everything? Drink Coke Zero with real Coke taste and 0 calories. The City of Hattiesburg, a proud sponsor of Southern Miss Athletics. UPS, we love logistics. One Mississippi, now open for small business. And the University of Southern Mississippi. It's great to be a Golden Eagle. We'll be back with this week in Southern Miss football right after this.
What if you could create a bank that's just right for you? It'd have to be reliable, right? Familiar and dependable. But you'd also want big-time resources and financial tools to help you take care of the things that are important to you. You'd want a personal banker, someone who really knows you and can help you manage your assets, like offering a complete host of wealth management services. And there you go, Bancorp South. A bank that's, well, just right for you. Bancorp South, right where you are.
Look at that. Brett Favre. Justin Verlander. Mean Joe Green. Teresa Weatherspoon. T.Y. Hilton. Randy Moss. All players from Conference USA schools. The question is, who is the next Favre? Who's the next Verlander? The next Moss? We're about to find out.
Hi everybody, welcome to Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Todd Monken, presented by Bancorp South. Hard to believe the 2014 football season is already here. The Golden Eagles open it up on Saturday up in Starkville against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. But Todd, it's hard to believe, seems like just yesterday that we were at Legion Field in Birmingham, the Golden Eagles with that big win to end the year over UAB. How much has that excitement, the victory against UAB, sort of carried over into the spring, into the off-season, into the preseason practices?
Well, it's hard to even to measure it. You know, just the excitement, the ride back, the singing of the fight song in the locker room, and just the added juice to our team, what it looks like and what it feels like. I think for a long time you forget what it feels like to taste victory, and I think it really gave us a jolt heading into the off-season.
One thing I've heard you say a lot this off-season is this team now has one voice. That hadn't been the case the last few years, but you're in your second year. Coordinators, AD, president, just everybody now sort of in the same direction, one voice kind of leading the football team. No question. It's for the most part, everything is still in place. The head coach, the coordinators, strength coach, same president, same AD. There's nowhere to go. This is where we're headed, one direction, and we can talk about the future. And it's hard enough to win when you're not pulling in the same direction. Now, I think
as a university, as an athletic department, as a football program, we're pulling in the same direction.
What do you like about this football team? As you've seen them the last few weeks here during your preseason, your two-a-day practices, what have you liked about this team, and where do you think they've got to get better as the season begins?
I think we're a lot more team-led. I think our older players are carrying the message. I think in year two, it's a lot easier for them to carry the message that you're trying to present as a coaching staff, strength department. So that's been different than last year, carrying that message. And I think where we need to continue to improve on is developing our depth. We're still a relatively young team. We've got some older guys, but developing our depth to give us a chance. Last year when we got some injuries, it was difficult. The guys we were putting out there weren't ready yet. So developing that depth, because you're going to have injuries. Today with the concussion studies, you're going to lose players throughout the year. Now, how does your depth develop? And that way you don't sustain such a hit.
When you look at the schedule for the Golden Eagles this year, obviously it starts with Mississippi State, but Alabama's on there, a non-conference game against Alcorn State, Appalachian State, and 8 tough Conference USA games this year. So difficult schedule.
Really is, and we'll find out how far we've come. Right out of the gate, we'll find out where we've improved as a coaching staff and as a program, going up against a really good Mississippi State team, who I think probably is their best team since Dan Mullen's been there. So we'll find out right away. And then obviously getting Alcorn here, and then having to go to Alabama. So we'll find out how far we've come and then where we've got to get to.
Well, Southern Miss gets ready to open the season this Saturday up at Starkville against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Later in the show, Todd's going to join us. In between, we're going to talk to the 2 coordinators, David Duggan, who coaches and is the coordinator of the defensive football team, Chip Lindsey, who is the offensive coordinator for the Golden Eagle football team. So we'll be back and visit with Coach David Duggan. We'll do that when we come back in just a moment on Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Todd Monken.
Gunnerman Group is a go.
Yes! Not just a startup, an upstart.
Gotta get going. Gotta be good.
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 Growth is the goal. How do we do that?
I talked to UPS. They'll help us out. New technology, smart advice. We focus on the business and they take care of the logistics.
UPS.
Good going.
We get good. That's great.
Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
I love logistics.
One Mississippi, your health insurance marketplace, is open for small business. I'm Mississippi's Insurance Commissioner Mike Cheney, and I'm proud to say that One Mississippi is a one-stop shop where small business owners with 50 or fewer full-time employees can shop, compare, and choose from several flexible and affordable health insurance options. Enroll online at onemississippi.com or through an insurance agent. One Mississippi, now open for small business.
Look at that. Brett Favre. Justin Verlander. Graham McDowell. Karl Malone. Randy Moss. All players from Conference USA schools. The question is, who is the next Favre? Who's the next Verlander? The next Moss? We're about to find out.
From the very beginning, your life is made up of a series of moments. Each moment requires you to make a choice. Sometimes you don't really have much of a choice. But for the moments that you do, the big moments, what will you choose? Choose to discover your own path, to defy expectations, to be challenged. Choose to ask, what if? To make a difference. Choose to give back. Choose to do something that matters and make every moment count. Choose Southern Miss.
And welcome back, everybody. Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Todd Monken, presented by Bancorp South. Joined now by the defensive coordinator for the Golden Eagles, David Duggan. And David, let's talk about the Golden Eagle defense. Talk about, when you go back and look at last year, what did you like or maybe didn't like about the defense? Where do you feel like this defense has improved?
Well, just from an age standpoint, we'll be a little bit better. You know, obviously with the addition of Alan House coming back after his injury, Rakeem Nunez coming back, Jacorius Cotton coming back, and a healthy Emmanuel Johnson. Those are 4 core leaders of our defense. So I'm excited about to see their leadership take place and see the growth of our younger players. I mean, you know, our young guys from last year got a lot of experience and a lot of game reps that should benefit them, you know, come Mississippi State.
That's the thing. Last year, a lot of injuries, so a lot of the young guys, a lot of true freshmen that probably wouldn't have played, had to be pressed into action. Probably wasn't good to have that happen last year, but now this year, good that they've got those reps under their belt.
No doubt. I mean, you can't replace game reps, game mistakes. You're building a foundation of who you are. Every mistake you make, hopefully you learn from it and you benefit from those mistakes. You know, C.J. Perry got thrust into a role last year. He should benefit from a lot of those mistakes. Dylan Bradley got thrust into a role which, you know, they really wasn't fair to them because they weren't prepared. But, you know, from hindsight, it was a blessing for this coming season because they got a lot of experience from those reps.
What will you be able to do defensively or try to be able to do this year maybe that you couldn't do last year because of the injuries, because of the lack of experience?
Well, I think just a depth standpoint, our depth is a lot better at this point. You know, our linebacking core, we have the addition of Brian Anderson and Elijah Parker that will be depth guys. To back up Allen and CJ will be in the rotation. You still have Tarek Wright. Our defensive front has got a little bit of depth to it right now. We're a little bit thin in our secondary, but we'll have a lot of young players back there that hopefully they'll have to get ready in a hurry.
You talk about being the physicality you want out of this defensive football team. Does that start to come when you've got experienced guys are sort of know what they're going to do and it comes second nature to them where they can go out and play more physical?
Well, that's what we always talk about, John, is we talk about, you hear Todd say it all the time, is the NFL, you don't get bigger, you don't get faster, you get stronger, you get smarter. And they look like they're playing a lot faster. Well, we've been preaching that to our own players, and hopefully, they've worked hard in the offseason, with our scheme, and so now they're playing with more confidence, and so you're going to see that translate to the field, and with confidence comes, faster trigger action. So, hopefully we'll get those guys around the football and attacking the ball.
And I've told you this, when I watch the football team practice defensively, that team sort of, you want them to go out there and sort of have that confidence, and you can see that out of the defensive football team.
Well, that's part, it's on our defensive staff and myself. It starts there. Just schematically, you want to have complexity, but not at the expense of execution. And we've really took our last season and said, okay, how do we make this a little better for them so that they can play faster? And, our staff has worked really hard at that, and our players have worked really hard, trying to get the system down. So I'm really excited to see the growth of our defense.
All right, Dave. Well, thanks for taking the time out to visit with us. It's going to be a lot of fun watching this football team this year and all the young guys and all the experienced guys coming back. So best of luck this year. And, again, thanks for the visit.
No problem, John.
All right, Dave Duggan. He is the defensive coordinator for the Golden Eagles. One of the guys he mentioned, Alan House, the senior linebacker out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. He's back for another year. Let's hear what Alan's got to say about this year's defense and this Golden Eagle football team.
Coming back this year, it's been a blessing. I just think of it every day as a blessing because, I wasn't really sure, even though, they told me, we're going to get you another year back. It's always that doubt in your mind, but, just being out here, it's great to be around the team. It's great to be around the seniors, some of the seniors I came with, so I'm just taking advantage of it. The strengths of our team, they'll definitely be our, just as far as leadership is, from Ja'Cory's Cotton in the secondary, we have Rakeem Nunez on the D-line, and, you have me, you have C.J. Perry. I got to say that our leadership is definitely our strength as far as defensive-wise.
What if you could create a bank that's just right for you? It'd have to be reliable, right? Familiar and dependable. But you'd also want big-time resources and financial tools to help you take care of the things that are important to you. You'd want a personal banker, someone who really knows you and can help you manage your assets, like offering a complete host of wealth management services. And there you go, Bancorp South. A bank that's, well, just right for you. Bancorp South, right where you are.
Look at that. Brett Favre. Justin Verlander. Mean Joe Green. Teresa Weatherspoon. T.Y. Hilton. Randy Moss. All players from Conference USA schools. The question is, who is the next Favre? Who's the next Verlander? The next Moss? We're about to find out.
Welcome back, everybody, to Southern Miss Sports Today with Todd Monken, brought to you by our good friends at Bancorp South. Joined now by the brand new offensive coordinator for the Golden Eagles, Chip Lindsey. And Chip, I guess first of all, just what's the experience like about being at Southern Miss, and what was it that attracted you to be a part of the Southern Miss program?
Well, I mean, I think that the tradition here, you know, with this university and me growing up in the South and being very familiar with it, you know, it's just a great opportunity and a chance to be on Todd Monken's staff, who's, you know, one of the top offensive guys in the country. For me personally, that was what drew me here to Southern Miss, and it's been a great experience so far for sure.
How do you like to play? What's your philosophy offensively? If we see a Chip Lindsey offense, what are some things we'll see?
Well, I think first of all, each year you establish your identity based on your personnel, and sometimes game plan goes into that too. And just like, you know, Coach Monken's been an up-tempo, hurry-up style, but sometimes that doesn't always fit, you know, depending on what's going on with your personnel and the game plan, so to speak. But you know, putting pressure on the defense to make them cover us horizontally as well as vertically, I think that's important, making them cover the entire field as well as every position on our offense, you know, contributing that night. And some will be bigger than others depending on the night and what the defense is doing, but I think the biggest thing is we want to play with a purpose and play with an attitude and really be more physical, but at the same time have the ability to play extremely fast and throw it around some too.
Let's talk about some of the positions on your offensive football team. Let's start on the offensive line. You've got a number of guys that are back from last year that got some experience, but there's some new faces in there. What do you think about the offensive line?
Well, I think they've improved tremendously from day one of spring until where we are now. I think they've gotten better now. You know, we still got some improving to do, but I think it really starts with the three guys that played a lot last year. You know, you got Shad Hill, who's played Cameron Tom, Fred Moore. All three of those guys contributed last year, got their feet wet, got some good experience, and I think, you know, we're counting on those guys to lead us. But then we've got, you know, I think 5 or 6 other guys who will contribute at some point and add some depth to that O-line.
When you look at the running backs, of course, Jalen Richard has got a couple of years under his belt. We saw George Payne play last year as a freshman, but that's a pretty good position there. You got some good experience there and some good young guys waiting in the wings.
You know, I feel good about those guys. They've had a great spring in our first two scrimmages here, and continuing to stress as we do throwing it as well as protect the ball, and I think they've done a pretty good job of that. Jalen brings some experience as well as George back, and then our two young guys, you know, Ito and Tez Parks both have had great camps, so we're excited to see where they fit into.
All right, wide receiver on this football team last year had a lot of guys that sort of got thrown in the fire as true freshmen, but they've got a year under their belt, and you've added some experience in there as well. So what's the take on the wide receiver position on this team?
Well, and we're still trying to build some depth there, but I think those guys that played last year, you got Marquise Ricard, and you have
James Cox was in there last year.
Thompson, all those guys had got their feet wet, and I think that's important. And then we sprinkled in some newcomers with Mike Thomas as well as Kyle Foster with some junior college guys and a transfer in Casey Martin. I think all of them are going to contribute, and I think it just depends on how quickly they get accustomed to what we're doing and acclimated to our offense, and I think you'll see some improvement there. And it's a daily process, learning each day all the little details of our offense, but I'm really pleased with the direction we're headed with.
And don't want to forget about that other wide receiver spot, which is kind of a hybrid wide receiver tight end, where Marquise Triplets, the veteran there.
Yeah, and you know, that's what you like about him. You know, he's got some experience. He's a big guy, makes plays, very good at catching the football in traffic, and I think that's what's been impressive with him, is catching the ball in traffic.
Quarterback, of course, you're familiar with the guy who's the #1 guy, and Nick Mullins. You coached him in high school, but you got some good experience behind him, and Parker Adamson and Cole Weeks, and now Gunnar Roach, the true freshman.
Sure, you know, and Nick's been very he's been very solid so far, and like the progress that he's making. You know, he's a pretty smart guy, and that's always fun to have at quarterback. But our entire room's that way. All four of those guys and have really been smart kids, very much student of the games, and Parker and Cole have done a nice job this fall, and it feels good to have some guys out there that can go in and operate the offense. Gunner's actually, you know, those freshman guys, especially at quarterback with what we do, it's a big adjustment. He's done a fabulous job though of really coming in and trying to learn this offense.
Chip, it's great to have you as a part of the family here at Southern Miss. Looking forward to a great season. Thanks for visiting with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, Chip Lindsey, he's the offensive coordinator for the Golden Eagles. It is first year, and looking forward to big things out of the Golden Eagle offense this year. We talked a moment ago about Nick Mullins. He's the starting quarterback for the Golden Eagles. Let's hear some comments from Nick about the offense and this year's football team.
The improvement has been tremendous. You know, the outside receivers and the offensive line really coming together. The bond that we've created is really creating production in practice, and that'll lead to the games. You know, we have some threats outside that I think are certainly going to make some plays this year, and we have time to protect, get the ball out and make plays. That's what this year is going to be about. You know, it's really great to have some depth. You know, I think Casey Martin, a guy from Houston, you know, and then you have DJ and Tripp, Marquise. So just a whole bundle of weapons. You know, it's really great to see out there. You know, and they're continuously improving. That's the thing. Just get out here in the practice field and just strive to get better every day. And Coach Monken's really done a good job with that. You know, he's a great detailed-oriented coach, and that's really been great for them.
Got him in group as a go.
Yes! Not just a startup, an upstart.
Got to get going. Got to be good.
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 Growth is the goal. How do we do that?
I talked to UPS. They'll help us out. New technology, smart advice. We focus on the business, and they take care of the logistics.
UPS.
Good going.
We get good. That's great.
Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
I love logistics.
One Mississippi, your health insurance marketplace, is open for small business. I'm Mississippi's Insurance Commissioner Mike Cheney, and I'm proud to say that One Mississippi is a one-stop shop where small business owners with 50 or fewer full-time employees can shop, compare, and choose from several flexible and affordable health insurance options. Enroll online at onemississippi.com or through an insurance agent. One Mississippi, now open for small business.
Look at that. Brett Favre. Justin Verlander. Graham McDowell. Karl Malone. Randy Moss. All players from Conference USA schools. The question is, who is the next Favre? Who's the next Verlander? The next Moss? We're about to find out.
From the very beginning, your life is made up of a series of moments. Each moment requires you to make a choice. Sometimes you don't really have much of a choice. But for the moments that you do, the big moments, what will you choose? Choose to discover your own path, to defy expectations, to be challenged. Choose to ask, what if? To make a difference. Choose to give back. Choose to do something that matters and make every moment count. Choose Southern Miss.
And we're back, Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Todd Monken, presented by Bancorp South. Well, we talked about the offense and the defense a little bit. Now we're going to talk about the special teams. But I guess, Todd, before we do that, just real quick, talk about offense and defense on this football team. What you like about them, how you feel like maybe you've gotten better on both sides of the ball.
Well, I think offensively where we've really improved is up front. I really like our guys up front. We don't have numbers per se, but I like the guys that we have, and I like the direction we're headed. And then defensively, I really like having our two senior safeties and Allen House back. So, you know, when you talk about, and then Rakeem Nunez up front, when you're good up the middle, your defensive tackles, your middle linebacker, and then your safeties, I really like those two things about our offense and defense.
Let's talk special teams. I think it's probably fair to say you didn't get as many game-changing type plays out of the special teams as maybe you wanted a year ago. And again, that goes back to some of those injuries you had on the football team. But special teams have looked good during the preseason, particularly the senior kicker, Corey Acosta, who looks like he's kicking it as well as he ever has.
No question. In terms of just kicking it, Corey Acosta kicking as well as I can, as long as I've been here, and then Tyler Sarrazin, our punter. really have developed. And last year, you're right, we just didn't have enough game-changing plays. We had a number of opportunities, we just didn't take advantage of it. I think our depth is going to continue to get better, so who we put on the field gives you a chance to give you some of those game-breaking plays. Emmanuel Johnson last year started off as our kick return. They got banged up. I think he's got a real feel for it. I think he's probably our best returner. We're hopeful that he'll be able to do it on a limited basis when we need him. But we're expecting a lot more out of our special teams, and we have to be the team we think we can be.
A couple of days from now, the Golden Eagles open the season against Mississippi State. Dan Mullen's ball club had a pretty good year last year, won the Liberty Bowl. When you look at Mississippi State on tape, what jumps out at you?
Well, first off, they finished the season last year winning their last 3 games. There's nothing like finishing the season on a high note. We know that. So they've had a great offseason, I'm sure, because of that. But what stands out is their up-front guys on defense. I think they're physical. I think they're big at linebacker. I think you're going to have to match their physicality. And then offensively, the quarterback they've got, I think, is special. And I think they do some great things with him. He's capable of beating you running it and throwing it. And they put you in real tough run-pass conflicts. If you want to have a safety extend himself in the run game to take care of Dak, then they're going to try and throw it over your head. So you've got to be disciplined with your eyes on defense to not give up explosive plays. But like I said earlier, I think it's going to be their best team they've had since Dan's been there, and it'll be a real challenge for us.
All right, no doubt about it. Thanks for the visit. Looking forward to an exciting 2014 season, and let's see if we can't get off to a good start and win that opener on Saturday.
You bet, John. Thank you.
All right, Coach Todd Monken will join us every week here on the show. He's also with us on Thursday night at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Hattiesburg for the Golden Eagle Hotline. Come on out and join us and talk a little Golden Eagle football. Southern Miss and Mississippi State coming up on Saturday up in Starkville, the season opener for both ball clubs. That'll do it today. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week with another look inside of Southern Miss football.
This edition of Southern Miss Sports Today with Todd Monken has been presented by Bancorp South, right where you are. And brought to you in part by Hattiesburg Coca-Cola. Want a taste of everything? Drink Coke Zero with real Coke taste and 0 calories. The City of Hattiesburg, a proud sponsor of Southern Miss Athletics. UPS, we love logistics. One Mississippi, now open for small business. And the University of Southern Mississippi. It's great to be a Golden Eagle. This has been a presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports.